back with some more Blender workflow videos, and this time I'm going to just kind of continue on working with my animation project. And last time we did this kind of floaty architectural piece, which was also apparently blinking and had the toon material associated with it, and we rendered it out in Eevee. So I'll build up from here, and I'll continue working on it from here. So without any further ado, let me switch this back to shaded mode, not rendered mode, and actually I'll just select the element itself and just delete it. Also same for the camera, because I have a bigger piece imported, and I've imported it from Rhino. So we have this huge piece right here. Okay, so first things first, this is actually vertical. It needs to be vertical. So let me rotate it around the x-axis, 270 degrees or minus 90 degrees, whatever. Just have it positioned like so. Let's see how it looks like in the rendered view. Why is it glowy? Bloom. Oh, that's because bloom threshold for the render properties is all the way down. So I'll just increase the bloom threshold for like something like 1 to make it not glow. Okay, so this shape right here, actually, what the heck is going on here? As I zoom out, it's messing up a bit. Oh yeah, of course it's going to mess up. That's because we're using Eevee, and Eevee is not that great. I'll need to look into light probe, radiance probe to capture diffuse indirect lighting, reflection probe with spherical or cubic attenuation. Yeah, I'll need to look into these settings and see how we can make Eevee work better, so that it doesn't make any lighting mistakes. But other than that, this is, I would consider this good enough. So now, without any camera, without any animation here set up on this, I will first add a material for it that we already have created for in our previous video, and it's a very simple one. It's just this Toon Eevee test material, this guy, and I just want to see if it works, and it seems to work quite nicely here. Okay, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's change that material up a little bit and make it kind of nicer. So let's see what we have here. First things first, where's my world? So where I have my world settings, for the color of it, I will just change it to slightly brighter black, like really dark gray. And also, yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to change about that one. And now let's look into this and how we can make it nicer. Okay, so here I have a diffuse BSDF, shader, color ramp, and material output. Okay, so before I begin, I will make it more simple. So I'll just remove the gray color here and just make it either black or white. And I can control where the white things are and where the where the black is. And this is not black, is it? No, it's not. Okay, so now I make it pure black. We'll fix this later. Okay, so what kind of shader do I want to do? It needs to have highlights, it needs to have midtones, and the darkest parts need to have shadows. Okay, so we will need to fix that. Let's start off with a hatch. So I'll just with an angular tone tone map. I will just create an input, no, not an input, a texture, a wave texture, and I will just look at how it looks like on the surface. So that's how it's being mapped to the surface. Not great, definitely not great, but it's a start. Okay, so for this texture, I always want it to be 45 degrees at an angle, and it always needs to follow the view of my camera. So I'll check what kind of mapping I can have. So vector goes into vector. And then I need to change the direction of the mapping. That's not a lot of room to work with. So direction of the mapping. I need to go through these inputs to figure it out. No. Attribute, camera data, is camera data good? View vector, is that good? No, that's close, but that's not good. What about in vector? Displacement? No, that's not it. Color? Definitely no. Texture? We checked that one out already. Emission? No. Output? Okay, so input. We do need something in the input, or is it? No. Shader to RGB. So this is why it's not a tutorial, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, not that. Input, it should be in the input. UV map, texture coordinate. Is it a texture coordinate? Let's try texture coordinate. Texture coordinate from the window. Let's try that. Perfect. Okay, so that's what we want. When we want the texture coordinates to be from the view, from our current view. And you can see, as I now rotate the camera, that wave is going to be constantly rotating. So there's a few things that I want to change about this. First of all, this is too soft, so I want to create a color ramp like that. Or actually, we already have one. I will just copy that one, copy paste, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, connect it here. There we go. And now with this color ramp, I can control the width of this. So I'll just give it like 50%. And actually for the white color, I will choose mid-gray. And for the dark color, I will choose dark gray. I think something like that will work. And now I believe, do we need mapping though? Perhaps we can get away without using any mapping. So that's without, that's with, that changes absolutely nothing. But here we can change the rotation. So that might be something that's useful. But I want it to be as simple as possible, so I'll disable it, or rather I'll delete that node, and I'll just use texture coordinate to wave texture to color ramp to material output. Okay, so now for texture coordinate, let me just minimize it. Don't need to see that. For the wave texture, let's decrease the scale. Much more like that. We probably will need to decrease it even more. Now we have something like this going on. Super. Okay, and then we have material output. Yeah, okay, so we have this hatch here. And basically I want to map this hatch onto my shape only where the shadows are. So I want to occlude the highlights. And I can do that by actually by using this color ramp that we have here. And how does it look like? I need to remember now. Surface. So if we have this color ramp, can I use a mix shader or mix RGB rather, not mix shader? And I say color 1 is blue, color 2 is red, and then we use factor. No, factor. This is the factor. So the color ramp color is the factor. And what kind of output do we get for the surface? Okay, that's what we have. So that means everything that is blue, like color 1, should be these hatch lines, like that. And color 2 should be white, right? I said color 2 should be, why is it not? Okay. RGB, please. Just give me white. Okay, so we're getting there. Now we have the highlights, and we can control what we consider to be a highlight with the slider, right? So we have something like this. That's good. And now for the shadows. So for the shadows, we kind of repeat the same process, right? Yeah, we just create another one, mix shader, mix RGB, sorry, mix RGB. And I always like to do blue versus red just to see what's what. And I'll just place it into material output. Oh yeah, right. So now it's the factor is not being controlled. Let me copy the color ramp and paste it here. So we have 2 color ramps, and I can use it as my factor. So it's the same thing now, but I can change it up. And now my red color is going to be, my blue color is going to be the output of the first mix here, and the red color is going to be pure black. There we go. Or not pure black, sorry. It's going to be kind of ink black, like that. Okay, and this doesn't work. Why doesn't this work? This looks like that, and then this starts looking like that. Oh, that's because this is inverted, like the way it works. So I will, oh, actually I can just do this, search, invert, connect it on this wire here. So everything that was black becomes white, everything that was white becomes black. And now this works. Good. So it's still pretty simplistic the way it works, but now I can control what I consider to be gray, or rather mid-tone with this one. Let me actually just mess around with it, and I can control its color, right? I need to push it back to pure white, like that. And also I can control the shadow, right? I can make it brighter or darker, like that. Okay, so we have our piece, and the problem is that if I zoom out too much from my piece, it kind of starts messing up, but that's fine. For this shot, I will want it, you know, for this shot, I will want to kind of have a very what's the word? What's the word that I'm looking for? A very close-up shot of it. Okay, so we have that. Let's go back to layout. That's good. And in the layout, let me grab the... how do we do this? Do I just create a new... I'll just create a new window here. And in this window, while here I'm zoomed in this window, I will grab my light source, and I will rotate my light source around the z-axis to just see how this changes. And it's actually not that bad. It's pretty cool. Okay, we can work with this. So now the next step is adding the blinky things, and I'll just do it for just a few of for a few elements here, just to see if it works or not. So here, let me right click here, join areas. I want to move this one in here, change this to shader to view, and let's find our sacrifice, which is going to blink. Let's say these guys, right? So first things first, I select this guy, I go to materials, and I add an additional slot, additional material slot to this whole thing. And this one is going to be our emissive material, you know, the one that shines light. So we have that. And for this emissive material, I will not do anything with the emissive material itself. Rather, I will, and I probably should delete the nodes for it. Nah, we'll keep the nodes. I will apply that emissive material, let's say for these bolts somewhere here. Or should it be something else? Now, for now, let's just do these bolts, just to check how it works. So I'll hit tab to go into the edit mode, and it's gonna take a while. I mean, this is 7 million faces, right? So it takes a while. Alt A to unselect everything. Then I will just select, let's say, let me zoom in. Yeah, there we go. I will select these polygons here, and it takes forever to select them. Perhaps I need to separate this form into parts, or yeah, whatever. I'll just push through it and kind of slowly select these polygons here. And for now, I just want to see how it works, so I'll just choose emissive material and hit assign on just these polygons, and hit tab to get out of the editing mode. And I'm not getting out for some reason. I'll hit tab again. Oh, there we go, we're in object mode, and now let me change this to rendered. Okay. So it is indeed glowing. That's good to see. Is the scale changing together with how far away we are? Maybe I'll fix that, maybe I won't. We'll see. Okay, so we have one glowing boy, and I will probably, you know, off this recording, I'll go around this form, and I'll just kind of make more. Actually, now when I think about it, I will probably decimate this form as well, because there probably are some unnecessary polygons here. I'll need to double check on that. Anyway, it's not about it for now. So first things first, the hatch or these angular lines are really in my face right now. So I'll go back, I'll change this to my Toon Eevee test, and here I will just change it up so that this color is a little bit darker. This color is a little bit brighter, so that we don't have that much contrast going on here. Okay, and I want this to have a little bit more grain on it. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably, so texture coordinate is great. I will keep using it. I will use wave texture. Not wave texture, sorry, noise texture. White noise, no, just regular noise texture. 3D noise, that's perfect. Let me expand this and use the same window. No, actually in this case I will just use, let's see how just the noise texture works here. What if we just use the noise on the surface? Looks like complete garbage. Let's change it up to 0.01. Even less, negative. Okay, that's good. So like negative 500, I would say. Yeah, probably something like that. Just pure noise here. And then we do the color ramp thing again. So let me just grab one of these, copy paste, drag it here, connect it, and then mess around with it until I'm happy. There we go. So we have these flakes going on. What if we decrease the detail? Oh, okay, got it. It does that. So I'll actually increase the detail. And what about distortion? What does distortion do? Ah, okay, got it. So actually no distortion for it. Okay, and less, a little bit more. Something like that seems good. Actually, even less scale. Let's do minus 1,000. Okay, super. We have our noise here. And let me change this up. So this is white, and this one, I don't want it to be pure black. I want it to be kinda dark gray. And I will, what will I do with it? I want to slap it on top of my existing texture. Can I just use mix again? Where is the mix? Mix. Okay, let's search mix, RGB, factor 1, mix. Instead of mix, we use multiply, and color 1 is whatever. Okay, that can be color 2, like that, and that can be color 1, like that, and let's see how it looks like. Okay, that looks nice. I want this to be lighter though, like that. Looks good. Okay, so I have this. We have this going on, and I assume, where's my freaking light? Ah, there it is. A little blinker here. I think if we run the animation, book. Nice. So it's going to be blinking. Okay, that's good. We have that done. And now I want, of course, I will add more stuff to this, and I will make this whole thing animate, but basically before I continue doing so, I will just go around this whole form and add more blinkers to it. And maybe I'll even change up. Let me change this to shader 2. I will change up how many different emissive materials I have so that it blinks in different colors. We'll see. So for now, let me just go around this whole part and just keep adding blinkers here and there. All right, we're back. I'm almost done with this part, and as I was doing this, I noticed that I can just simply kind of take one of the faces and go to select similar, choose coplanar, wait a bit because again, 7 million polygons, that takes a while, and it's just going to select all of the coplanar faces on that particular plane, and then I can just hit emissive, assign, and call it a day. There we go. And I think I don't want to overdo it with the glowiness of it. I think this is something that I would consider it good enough. So I'll just hit tab to exit the edit mode. So we have it looking like that. Let's see how it behaves. Yeah, as expected, blinking nicely. Everything seems to be working quite well. All right, so that's that. What's next? Let's think. Perhaps now it's the time to start animating it. So I'll just move it away a little bit, away from the 0, 0, 0 coordinate a bit. I'll just go to Object, Apply, All Transforms, so that all transformations are applied to it. And actually I want to change set the origin to 3D cursor, and for that I want to actually place the 3D cursor properly somewhere in the middle of my object. That's actually good enough, or do we just place it there and call it a day? Yeah, let's do that. So that's my 3D cursor. I will just go to Object, Set Origin to 3D cursor. There we go. Now as I'm going to move it, my gumball is going to be here, meaning rotation is going to be funky, but we will not be rotating these objects in animation, so I don't need the gumball to be right in the middle of the object. All right, so back here, what do we have here? 480 frames of happiness. So let's start with frame 0, and I'll just say here Z transform is, yeah, let me just lock it, insert keyframes. So that's my transform at 0. At 240, I will transform it up a bit, not by a lot, something like this, and lock it, insert keyframes, and then for the last one I will just, actually let me choose view only keyframes so that it's easier to just choose this one. copy, paste it here. So it's back to where it was. Okay, so it's jumping around. Let's see if it's kind of smooth, but it's moving quite high. No, I want it to be slower. So you need to be a bit lower than that. Replace keyframes. Okay, that seems to do the trick. So we have that. What else? What else do we want to do with this? Okay, that seems good. Do we? Okay, and also the shading seems to be quite good. Okay, so that works. We're happy. Now let's create some sort of a landscape real quick. Let's just see. What if I Shift A, mesh, plane, just a plane. All right, it's going to be placed there. Why? What? Strange how it works. We don't really care. Where's my plane? There it is. I need to scale it up, of course, by a lot. Hello, plane? Plane, scale. There we go. So I'll just scale it up. More. That's good. Just move it down. Should you be at 0 height? Maybe you should. I'll just move you to 0 height. And actually, let's zero it out. And your size is gonna be 1,000, or yeah, for now let's have it as 1,000. I will probably increase it more. There we go. That's good. Oh, whoops! I could have just changed the dimensions. This one's, yeah, whatever. Screw it. I will just go to Object, Apply, All Transforms. Let's call it a day. So this bad boy is floating, but it's floating not where I want it to float. So perhaps I can just... Can I just move it up? And also, why do you not drop a shadow? Oh, you are actually dropping a shadow, it's just we don't see it. Ah, crap, we'll need to fix that, for sure. It's weird how this works. If you're closer. Okay. Oh yeah, and then you just forgot to... Crap. That, and replace keyframes. And now instead you go down, huh? No, you go up. Higher up. Replace keyframes. Delete that one. Take this one, copy. Paste it here. Should be good. Yeah, it's kind of floating. That's good. I will need to fix the shadows. So let's see. Okay, so I figured it out, and it's apparently under my light parameters. Here I have the maximum distance, which I need to change. So right now the maximum distance is set to 400. If I decrease it, you can see that the shadow keeps disappearing, and if I increase it, the shadow appears. But the problem with it is from what I see is that my the quality of the shadow is disappearing as well, right? So the higher value I give it here, the less of a quality I'll have, but at the same time, it's it's gonna look nice here. So it's always a trade-off. Okay, at least we know how to work with that. What about contact shadows? What are these? I haven't worked with these before, so I don't know. Let's see. What's distance? Got it. Okay, so those are the small shadows there. And apparently they only appear on the form itself, so it's self shadow, I guess. So I'll just give it a distance of 10 meters and bias of, it's a bias. Now I shouldn't be messing around with these. Let me just check if they make a nicer effect. They seem to do. Okay, so I'll keep them. So we have our render set up, except for the ground. I'll probably mess around with this ground a little bit more later in the next video. But for now, I'll just add some sort of a material for it. Let me say new slot with a new material, and I'll just call this ground texture. What can we do with it? Is it a principled BSDF? Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll just go into shading and see what can be done with it. Why the heck is my shading view so messed up? Camera, I don't have a camera view. Let's just go to front view and kind of rotate out of it, and now it's fine. So now for this material, yeah, I definitely don't need principled BSDF. Instead, I will use regular diffuse shader connected to surface. That's how it looks like. That's perfect. And same thing, I guess, shader to RGB. Color, nope. Shift A, S, color ramp node, constant. I just mess around with the white until I get my color here. Now I can change the color of it. What else can we do? I believe we can add a displacement modifier on it. Do we add a displacement before or after? That's the real question. Is there a displacement, vector displacement, and just a displacement here? I just want to check it out. First, I'll do it with the noise texture, just to see how it behaves. Let's add a color to surface, or rather, sorry, factor to material output. I'll disconnect the displacement. I have no idea what I'm doing there, so I'll not mess around with that too much. Decrease the scale of the freaking noise texture. And let's see, color ramp. What if I copy paste it here? And what if we, yeah, there we go. That's something that I want to see. So now let's try out this as a displacement. What will you do? And add the color ramp here. That is doing absolutely nothing. Oh, actually, it's doing. It is working. So it's displacing my landscape here. Not doing a great job, but I mean it's not bad. Okay, let's see what else can we do. I will add one more slider here. So let's see. What if we have mid-tone gray here, and it's very close to black? No, that doesn't work. So perhaps this one needs to actually be not constant but rather linear. Let's wait for that displacement to kick in. That seems to do the trick. We have a few craters here and there, and I will just increase the scale of these craters here. So now how do we change the... Oh. So we change the height of the displacement. Displacement, object space, world space, height, mid-level, scale. And that's the color. Can the color be translated into normal? Probably not, right? That would be weird. No, it can't. Okay, got it. That's stupid of me to think that it can. Can I just use S math and just kinda multiply, or use power? No, I'll just multiply. Where's my multiplication? I'm pretty sure that that's definitely not how you work with displacement, but whatever. So as I was doing this, I understood that I actually don't need freaking displacement in this for this particular task, because I am going to be sculpting out the landscape. So that was awkward. I don't need this, and I definitely don't need that. Instead, what I want to do is create an input of a texture, of a bitmap. Am I blind? Oh, it's texture. God damn it. I hate this. Just texture coordinate, image texture. There we go. Image texture. I will find my image, which is going to be under textures.grid 4K. Super. Let me just hook it up here to just see what we have. That is how it looks like, which means I want it to be... Do I want it inverted? No, but I do want it to be tiled, so I'll just use mapping, UV map, normal map. Can I UV map it? No, I can't. Still not familiar with Blender's nodes. Just regular mapping, and what do we have here? Can I hook this up here? I can. Type texture. The doesn't work. Super. That's excellent. Okay, that doesn't work as well. Scale, nothing works. It's always nice to see. So how the heck do we work with this piece of shit then? Also, one more thing. In the view, I'll just add 0 to my end clipping so that it doesn't cut away too far. So that it doesn't cut away so close. So back to mapping, huh? How do we map this? Cubic Smart. Do I just do it in UV editing? Here, UV unwrap. Angle-based fill holes. Or Smart UV project. I want to see how it looks like, but I can't. There we go. That's how it looks like. And then if I select this, I can kind of move around and which tells me that if I were to scale this up, so where's the scale? If I were to scale this up, I can't. What the Okay, that's a bit awkward. Am I doing it wrong? Oh, now I can. Okay, sure. So now we can kind of scale it in any way we want. That's good. We have a little bit of a grid going on here. That's nice. Let's go back to shading. So we have something like this. Okay. Can I... Okay, so now when UV works, kind of works, I will use Mix Shader. Mix RGB, I mean. I'll use that as my factor, not as my color, as my factor, to mix between this color and color black. Nice. So I get a little bit of a pattern here on the ground. That's all I wanted. Later on, I'll add the noise map and so on, all of these on this form. But for now, this is good. This is good enough. Okay. So that's my material. So now let's finish up because I'm getting tired. I will just look at the animation. So it's a little bit floaty. It's doing its thing. Everything seems fine. The ground is a little bit too bright for my taste, or maybe it's not. Let's see how it looks like here. No, I want the ground to be darker. So I'll go back to shading and I'll just choose the highlight to be... Actually, I don't need that anymore. I'll just choose the highlight to be darker, like that, and this one to be slightly brighter, and maybe the lines are actually bright white, like that. Okay. Camera. Time for camera. Or do we? Can we copy this? Perhaps we can. I'll save first, of course. Control S. Saved. Weird how it saves 7 million polygons so fast. Shift D or Control D to duplicate. That was easy. Okay. Rotate Z 180. Basically, I just want to see the other side of it. Will you also float? You will, but you don't like the translation that I gave you. Yeah, okay. And you're floating in a weird way, so I'll just get rid of your keyframes. Come on, just no. Delete keyframes. There we go. Delete keyframes. There we go. And now I just move you here. Maybe you are higher up than your friend. Let's find a nice angle for you. Okay, that's good. Can I scale this up even more? And that's good. Rotate around Z 45. And now you don't produce a freaking shadow anymore. Oh, you do. Never mind. You're just too high up. So maybe you're lower. And I would say you are locked here. And then you move up until kinda. Or do you move down? No, both of you need to move up. So you move up slightly, but also you rotate ever so slightly. Like, yeah, -5 degrees. That's perfect. Insert keyframes. Insert keyframes. And here you are not rotated. That's a 0. Insert keyframes. That's good. And then you need to end where you've started. Give me that node. Copy paste it. How do you look like? (12 frames per second). Okay, that's good. And now I just want a camera. View, camera, set. Local view, viewport, navigation line view, viewport render image. I don't know how to. Okay, fine. I'll just make a camera. Shift A, camera. There we go. Let's move. Viewport display. No, camera settings. viewport display, set size, I guess you can be like 20. Okay, that's good. So that's our camera, and actually I want another view here, because we will be using this one to control the camera and this one to actually see through it. So that's my camera. I will position it a certain way. Can I just start off from here? I think that's good. And so that's the 0 position. And focal length 80 millimeters. So actually it needs to be further back. Or do we even use, no. Something like that, and let's move it down to something like this. Definitely closer. Yeah, that's good. Rotate Z. Just framing the composition. So let's see, something like that. That's perfect. And now just move back a little bit so I can get a better shot. No. Come back here. So hard to get a nice shot. Rotate Z. Maybe something more like this. Yeah. Or maybe something like that. Okay, so we have that going on, and that's going to be our first keyframe, and insert keyframes, and then all our camera needs to do is just go up. Right, so 400 at frame 480, our camera is kinda here. That's good. And also it needs to go closer, come closer to here. Insert keyframes. There we go. Now we're done. Let's see the whole thing. Join areas, join it up. Let's frame it nicely. Let's see it play out. The shadows are going all over the place. That's problematic. I'll need to fix that. Let's see how we can fix it. Sun. Light, shadow. What's a bias? Never understand what the bias is. Do you now still? Yeah, you're still doing that. Maximum distance 1000 meters. Can we get away with less? Okay, what if we have 100 meters? That's definitely not good. 500 meters. That is good enough here. What about fade? Fade does a few tricks. So we need to use more. Okay, so definitely no fade. 0. What if we turn off contact shadows? Will it make it better? It's actually better without contact shadows. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's say contact shadow distance is actually just 5 meters and bias to avoid self-shadowing 0. Oh, I can't do 0. Pixel thickness used to detect occlusion. 1. When you have no idea what that means, you just press 1. Okay, I'll call it a day for now with this one. I think that's good enough, and I'll render it out. Also, I still have freestyle turned on. I wonder if it's gonna work. We'll see. I'll just save this. Save this file. Stop the recording, and I'll hit record. Hit render. So I guess I'll see you in the next video.